Hello. Doc and I are on safari in Africa, or that is. That is, we have decided to simulate.
You want to give me that gun up there because I'm a little worried about one of us, you know. I mean, just the water pistol will do.
Well, we've had to, create an African landscape as well as we could, so that we could take you on a trip. You know, I know you get tired of our surroundings, so we're just trying to pretend we're in Africa. But Doc and I did make one video in Africa already, in our African background already, and
see, I have another new shirt here.
He was wearing a rhinoceros shirt.
Oh, would you like to see that?
No. But now this shirt has got a, what do you call it, a griffin on it. And
it's applique.
And he's wearing his safari hat, and I'm wearing my safari hat.
I'm wearing my safari beard.
We always like to be dressed for the occasion.
And my safari beard. How do you think about that?
Yes, of course.
Ernest, eat your heart out, honey.
But anyway, Doc doesn't know it, but
I'm not talking about Ernest goes to camp here,
I am using this occasion to announce my semi-retirement from Facebook. Why? I am going to write my second volume of memoirs. And I can't write on Facebook and do my memoirs. It just doesn't happen. My memoirs don't get written. So the last time I had to stop my activities on Facebook, they're going to miss me, but I feel like that I will contribute to the world in greater measure if I write my second volume of memoirs. I've already got a working title. It's called Western Women Rising. It shows how Western women who have ordinarily, been quite suppressed, old-fashioned, they have figured out how to rise and become equals, or even in some cases superior to males.
What about Annie Oakley?
Huh?
Annie Oakley, she was a good shooter, wasn't she?
Well, Annie Oakley was an expert shooter, but
oh, wait a minute.
A straight shooter.
I'm sorry, I thought you meant. I thought you said writer, as an R-I-D-E-R, but you said writer.
Writer, yes.
But she could shoot the guns right off you.
So, Western women who ordinarily thought to be, and I'm from Utah. This was used to be a state of 7 wives to a man. So women were programmed to be submissive, because how else could you stand to be the 7 wives if you weren't submissive as hell? And you had to, otherwise you'd just have constant war, and the poor husband would be in great danger. But
well, that's the way I look at it. I mean, I think most of these guys are masochistic, like
7 wives.
Will you come and hurt me once in a while? I appreciate that.
Right, so we had to overcome our programming to be, Utah women, to be submissive, respectful.
Well, I hate to be the one to break your bubble, but
don't
there's a lot of
imagine that
tribes.
you could think near as well as
a lot of tribes
your
over
husband.
In our safari
we had to
country
throw off that
that's
kind
exactly
of
the way they
idea.
lived.
I did anyway. And
in Africa,
side that I could think just as well as any man, and possibly better, or I surely wouldn't be rising.
Griffin.
So, and while he is falling, and this is not any,
I'm not falling, I'm spiraling.
No.
I'm spiraling into dementia.
Yeah. Oh,
very good. When I was in college, we used to do all these psychological tests, and things that did that.
They never did that up there in Utah, did they?
You know, some of the
Well,
words
yeah, men all
like
over.
dementia
He's from
praecox. Do you know what that means?
Yes, he's from St.
Why?
Louis, and men all over just seem to assume that they're just naturally superior. They can do anything to their bodies. They can smoke. They can drink. They can do drugs. They can. What else is there? And
Well, wait a minute.
nothing will happen
Wait a
to
minute.
their giant brains.
Is
because-
high colonic out of that question? Because there's some guys that give themselves high colonic.
Now, I would probably
We know
had a
who
very
they
hard
are,
time
where they
keeping up with
live.
this guy when he was like college age. Because
You
he could
would've
play
never
the
done that.
piano, he could play jazz, and me, you know, I'm tone deaf, I can't even sing. And he could.
Speaking about that, I do have a karaoke
And he
machine
had,
for sale. Real cheap.
a giant IQ. It was measurably more than mine, I'm ashamed to admit. I don't know why my IQ only measured 132 at its very best. And
Well, you cheated.
when, you know, obviously they made some kind of mistake because I'm, you know, you can see that I'm much smarter than that. But, oh, listen, he's coughing. But his IQ
That one always
has
came through my
steadily gone
Almost came
down.
through my nose again.
Well, mine is
We're gonna have to
gone.
script this out so I know what's coming.
So,
Woo! I thought that one was gonna be spritzed all over the floor.
oh, yes. I try to spring these surprises on him, these intellectual endeavors of mine on him in a video so he won't, you know,
That's
so
true.
he'll behave
I have
himself.
this is like, whose line is it anyway? You know, or nothing's rehearsed. That it just, I would not be surprised if I heard a knock on the door and open it up and it's a chimpanzee going,
Hi, Daddy. Are you my daddy?
Oh, for heaven's sake. Well, and so now he has to hear that I'm going to write my second volume of memoirs. I have already written a number of plays, a number of
that doesn't bother me at all.
which I
No.
expect to rise in value when the world realizes what an unusual woman I am.
I think we've already
But we all
realized
know
that a long
that
time
men
ago.
will try to disappear women's writing if they possibly can. You know, they'll get rid of it some way. Oh, that novel isn't very good. Nobody's going to be interested in that. Women's work, you know, all she's doing in that novel is taking care of the kids and taking care of all the family problems. And, you know, who would read that? No, women want to, everybody wants to read men's tales of daring do, of superior
Yeah,
thinking.
I
Virginia
think
Woolf,
that's-
you know, Virginia Woolf wrote A Room of Her Own. And I read that not long ago and I was so impressed.
Who the hell's afraid of Virginia Woolf? That's what I want to know.
Virginia Woolf, who said,
Who's afraid
just stop and think how incredibly hard it was for women to write books. You know, while Shakespeare was busy turning out his brilliant plays, women were expected to be seen and not heard. They were not even educated. It was thought to be a waste of time to educate a woman. It was, you know, and you know, my father was of the old-fashioned type. He told me I had three choices when I went to college: secretarial, be a secretary, a nurse, or a teacher.
Wait a minute. You forgot cowgirl.
Oh,
Cowgirl.
cowgirl. Oh, that would be the. I couldn't even ride. You know, I certainly couldn't keep up with a cowboy, a
Simon
real cowboy. For
Cowboy.
heaven's sakes! As soon as I had
Get up. and-
kids, my dad retired me from the horse, told me to get in there and do the woman's work, raise the kids, no, do all that. So, and I tried to tell my dad, I need to take classes, I need to go to a writer, you know, to maybe outside of the state, and oh, he just paled at the very thought of paying out of state tuition for a girl to go, supposedly be a writer. He told me that was very impractical. I couldn't possibly succeed as a writer.
Well, let me
And you know,
interject here.
and he was
Suppose
forever mad at
that
me.
you were born a boy. Do you think he would have sent you to college?
Well, yeah, but I probably drank and partied so much like he
It
did.
wouldn't
That
send
I'd have
you
been
to
kicked
college.
out or, you know.
Get up there and ride, boy.
If a boy gets kicked, rebellious and gets kicked out of college, and has to come back home and ride horses and punch cows, because he partied too much, he's welcomed home as the prodigal son. When daughter leaves college
I think you
to come home
misunderstood that biblical reference there.
and say, I have quit college, Dad. Oh my God, Dad.
I can see this all now.
Ooh.
She did. I quit college.
Dad,
And
I could just see
I can
explosion,
see your father.
volcano
No, I don't see
blowing
that
up.
at all.
You have
Do not
what?
see that.
You have quit
I
college
did not see that at all.
after all the money I paid?
Here's what I see. Comes
Oh,
home, he said, Dad, I quit college, and your father goes,
where's my horse whip? This calls for.
wait, well, no, that wasn't what I was going to say. Where's the horse whip? I was going to say,
Oh.
well, son, you better saddle up and get out there with the rest of them cowboys, because you ain't my son no more.
Well, I knew that my dad was going to have a terrible fit when I walked in the house and said, well, I quit college. So when my head of my department said, I want you to go see a psychiatrist, a school psychiatrist before you go, you know, or he could see that I was maybe on the verge of leaving, and I was in one of his plays, and he didn't want me to abandon my post as in one of his plays, so I planned to stay until the play's run was over. I just had the second lead. I was playing a little submissive Amish girl who.
Gee, how appropriate for
She
you,
was just
John,
sweet
right?
and nice, and I felt that was the head of my department's message to me about how I was supposed to be acting. And so I went over to the school psychiatrist,
You're
and
supposed to be
I
acting. You're
proceeded
supposed
to
to
act
be
like
that
my
way.
liberated self and didn't respect him enough. Guess what happened? He called for help, put me under guard of a man with a gun, and took me off to be incarcerated, committed behind bars. I mean, this is right next door to jail. Only when you go to a psych ward, you can be tortured. I mean, you can be
I
given
didn't know that.
electric shock therapy for your own good.
No, wait a minute. This is back in the 50s, all right?
Oh yeah, in the 50s.
They
Well, yeah,
stopped
was
that crap
that.
because they found out it
I
didn't
don't know
work.
whether they stopped it or not. As a court of
They
last
haven't done
resort,
anything since the
women,
60s.
and you know, when first
it
thing I
doesn't
met
work.
as a woman who said,
Papa,
"Don't worry
Bill.
about electric shock. I've had 200." And I'm going, "Oh, what?"
Yeah. Well, how are they working out for you so far? I mean, you like them so far? You know, this is funny, and I told you this story. This is when the two girls and her mom, and they were, they had a little smoking problem. And so,
Smoking marijuana problem?
Oh, I didn't say that. You brought that up. I did not say that. So there's this little boy, and he just happened to look like he was about 10 or 12. And he's a little, just a black boy. And I was just talking to him, and he said, what are you here for? And I said, well, I'm here for my, daughters and my wife. And he said, well, they'll probably want to give you shock treatments. And I said, or give them shock treatments. I said, oh, really? I didn't know they were still doing that. He said, yeah, I've had over 100 of them, and I'm doing just fine. That guy did. I'm going,
Well,
needless to say, I was
all the ones that's been
very nervous about
that
going
shock
back
selling.
to this situation again. I said, either you shape up, or I'm not going to. If you want shock treatments, it's entirely up to you. I'm not paying for them.
Well, you're going to have to read my first volume of memoirs to find out what I had to do to get out of shock treatment. This was something. And then the second volume is going to cover after I got out of the hospital and unshocked and went home, still, of course, insane in everybody's mind, and how my dad behaved and everybody else behaved after I had been taken out of college under guard And of course he got his degree. He
It's
never
a
had a
2-minute
bit
warning,
of
you know.
problem.
2-minute warning.
Okay. Oh, wonderful, 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 wonderful. So I know you're going to be eager to find out how I handled these superior bastards, these men, when I got out.
When did I ever get to be a bastard? I have my.
Of course he is. I have begged. I have pleaded on my bended knee. I have begged him to quit that awful.
I have it in writing. My parents were married when I was born.
Yes, but I asked him, just would you please give up the alcohol? No. Do you think he did for me, for our relationship, for our business partnership, for our creativity,
Where's
for our
business
videos?
partnership? When
Did
did that
he
start?
ever give up? No.
Was there a business partner? How much
He
money have we?
Did not. In fact, he told me the other day, if you drank like I do, you would not be here. In other words, he could not tolerate a woman who does what he does.
No,
And
I could not
expects me
tolerate a woman
to
who doesn't
tolerate.
pay for her own booze. That's what I'm trying to tell you. If you bring your own booze over, maybe bring some for me once in a while.
Oh yeah, I can
tolerate
just
it.
see you tolerating that woman.
You won't even go
Sitting
over to
here.
this grocery store and buy me a bottle of beer.
Oh, dog. And she'd be smoking. You hate smoking.
Oh, not smoking, no, that's out.
You know, if I was sitting here like
You better be
this.
smoking before you
Oh,
get in
hi,
here.
dog. Here's my drink. I'll drink to you.
No, it didn't
You
work.
think I'd be here? No. He could not tolerate a woman who acts like him.
So anyway, let's wrap this up again and
Let's wrap it up. And I
Because,
will now come out in my jungle garb. Sheena of the jungle.
guess who's playing Tarzan?
Oh my goodness. And Mr. Safari
Eugene.
himself.
Me Tarzan.